Welcome back. Today marks day 4 in Karen Reed's second murder trial. She's the woman accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her car and leaving him to die in the snow. Reed says she is innocent. So CBS News Boston's Kristina Rex joins us live with the very latest. Kristina, before the jury listened to more witness testimony, they actually took a field trip. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Juliet, the jurors got to go on what's known as a view. So it was essentially a field trip to an address in Canton, Massachusetts, which is about 15 minutes from here in Dedham. And if you followed this case at all, you've heard this address dozens of times. 34 Fairview Road in Canton. That's the location in front of which John O'Keefe, the victim's body, was found the morning of January 29th, 2022. So the 18-person jury, that's 9 men and 9 women, they're not able to be on camera at all, but they were brought to 34 Fairview Road on a bus, escorted by prosecutors, defense attorneys, court officers, and the judge. Karen Reed's Lexus SUV was parked in front of the home, so jurors were able to see not only the home in which the crime scene happened, but they were also able to see Karen Reed's SUV. There was one major difference to that SUV, though. The right rear taillight, which is the spot where prosecutors allege actually hit the victim, ultimately killing him, the right rear taillight was completely removed from the vehicle. Jurors were warned about this. That's because the taillight is actually a piece of evidence that they will later see as a part of the trial. So jurors were told to take note of the location of the house compared to the street and the front yard. They were told to take note of the height of Karen Reed's car and her taillight, as well as any other details they might see in that area. But all of this, that whole view, lasted all of 10 to 15 minutes.
So what happened in court today?
So right after the view, jurors were brought back here to Dedham to the courthouse, where they heard testimony from 2 different witnesses. The first one was Dr. Fowler. He was an emergency room physician at the time when John O'Keefe was brought there, and Karen Reed had actually been brought to the hospital as well. So he oversaw blood alcohol testing of Karen Reed. And what he testified to was that on the morning of January 29th, so the morning after John O'Keefe died, Karen Reed tested a .093 blood alcohol level, which is over the legal limit of .08. Now, on cross-examination, he was pushed on that, and defense attorneys asked him if he considered other factors, like Karen Reed's anemia or her multiple sclerosis, that could impact that BAC level. He said he did not consider those other factors. The final witness on the stand today was a paramedic who treated Karen Reed for psychiatric reasons that morning. And he testified that Karen Reed told him that she was upset because her final conversation with John O'Keefe, who she referred to as her husband at the time, was an argument. Back to you.
All right, Kristina Rex. Kristina, thank you. Let's bring in lawyer Eric Guster of the Guster Law Firm. So, Eric, we just learned that jurors in the trial, they visited the crime scene. So what was the reasoning behind that, the show and tell? They were only there for 10 minutes max.
The prosecution lost the initial case. So because it ended in a hung jury. So what they need to do is bring out the guns and try to get the jury really involved and really feel their case, because they want them to go to the crime scene to see exactly where the death occurred, feel the scene, feel what may have happened, and try to lean them on their side, because retrials are much more difficult on a prosecution than on the defense.
So the defense is painting a picture that Karen Reed was framed. Does the prosecution have anything new to convince jurors? And what do they need to get a conviction?
The prosecution has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And being that this is the second trial, the defense already knows all their cards. Whenever the defense team loves a retrial, because they know exactly what the prosecution is going to say, they know exactly what their witnesses are going to say. And of course, the prosecution will try to jazz it up a little bit and bring in something different with this trial, but it's simply much more difficult for them to get a conviction when there was a hung jury before. The previous jury said they wanted to let her go, but they were hung on certain factors, and everyone knows that. The defense knows what they were hung up on, prosecution does, and they're trying to tweak their case to get the conviction.
All right, let's talk about Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing the United Healthcare CEO. He just pleaded not guilty to federal charges against him. The judge asked the prosecution to actually pass along a message to Attorney General Pam Bondi. So what was that all about?
Pam Bondi is talking. Whenever you have a trial, it's very important that a person gets a fair and impartial trial. And if the jury pool is tainted by media reports, internet interviews, videos, reels, quotes, that can impact the case. So even if the prosecution gets a conviction, if the jury feels like they were given information extra information that was not involved in the trial, such as the prosecutor, the police, the DA, or any of their investigators, that verdict could be overturned. So Pam Bondi needs to keep her mouth closed to try to get a conviction and let it stick.
Okay, so there is a federal and a state case. So talk about the strategy and who goes first.
There was a handshake agreement saying the state was going to go first, but now the prosecution, they're really hungry for the death penalty, so they may set their case first. I know the judge has set a potential pretrial for late December to see if their trial would start early next year, which is a very long time for a federal court case. However, the federal case, they want a death penalty case, they want to prove a point. The Trump administration wants to prove a point with this case because it was a target on a health official, and they may get first dibs at this one.
Great information. Thanks so much, Eric Guster. Appreciate it.